to We Don't Have Cookies, where possibilities are possible. Here's your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, it's still International Podcast Month here at We Don't Have Cookies, and I wanted to do a show with Mark Ofuji, but unfortunately he didn't get back with me. I tried to contact him to be on the podcast in July for the build-up to the 2-year anniversary show. Sent him a few messages between now and then, but I never heard back. I just assumed he was busy. Ever since I've known Mark, he's been a very active person and is always on the go. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. I found out yesterday that Mark has been missing for a while now. I don't have much more information than that. It seems the last time anybody's had contact with him has been about 2 months ago. So instead of a regular episode, I'm going to be going over my favorite moments of Mark Ofuji on the show, as well as some bonus material. I first heard Mark on a podcast while I was at work one day, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It was so bizarre. When I got home from work, I looked up his stuff on YouTube, and I was hooked. A few years later, I started a podcast called The Anger Mismanagement Show. I remembered how much he made me laugh, and I knew I wanted him to be a part of the show. So I found him on Facebook, and I asked if he would do a segment on the show where he would do some impressions, and he agreed. I never followed up with him, and that podcast ended after just a few episodes. A little over a year later, I decided to start this podcast, and of course I reached out to Mark again, and he was still up for it. I was expecting him to email me audio clips to use on the show, but instead he would send me videos. I told him he didn't need to do that, but he did it anyway for a long time. I still have all those videos. I'll post 1 or 2 a week on YouTube to give you something to watch. I'll have a link in the show notes where you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as Mark's, because he's got a lot of stuff on there too. Besides the intro music that I carried over from my previous podcast, Mark's segment was the first thing I had ready for the show. He sent a segment to me on July 2nd, and the podcast didn't launch until July 30th, so he was ahead of the game. I called the segment First Impression, with the idea being that each week or month he would do a different impression, most of which he's never done before, mixed in with some things that he liked doing previously, like Sean Connery. Regardless of whether or not you think his impressions are accurate, they were definitely funny. Here is the very first impression.
Welcome to First Impression. I'm Mark Ofuji, and this is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Finally, The Rock has come back! If you enjoyed that, please visit YouTube page at Mark Ofuji Genki, MARKGENKI. Thank you very much. Have a nice day!
He sent in a lot of segments, 21 to be exact, and here are just a few.
Welcome to First Impression. I am Mark Ofuji, and this is Randy Savage. This is Jerry Seinfeld and Cosmo Kramer. Well, look, I don't know. Kramer, what are you doing? Jerry! This is Sean Connery. I am Sean Connery. Bond. James Bond. This is Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried! I got fired from Aflac. This is Forrest Gump. My mama was always said, life was like a box of chocolate. You don't know what you're gonna get. And this is gonna be Barack Obama. Yes, we can. We did it. In 2016, I'll be retired. So, I don't care. Thank you very much. Thank you.
He even made his own montage of impressions once to wish me a happy birthday.
Hello, Jason. I'm an echo man. I have a few friends who have a message for you today. Here we go.
Gilbert Gottfried, I got fired from Africa. I have nothing else to do but wishing you a happy birthday, Jason.
I am Sean Connery, Bond, James Bond. Happy birthday for you, Jason.
Iwo Jima. What I want, a birthday. What I want. Okay.
Hey, I'm Jason Voorhees. Friday the 13th. Whoa. I'm here for peace. After all, you and me are brothers. Happy birthday to you, Jason. Happy birthday for you, family, loved ones. Peace and blessing, yeah. Hey, Jason, I'm Ofuji. Happy birthday to you.
And there were some that were, well, let's say they were a little outside the box.
Hi there, welcome to First Impression. I'm Ofuji. I like motorcycles. I want to show you two bikes. One, crotch rocket, and the other one is Vespa. Here we go. Hi, how you doing? I'm the Echo man. There's no trick, no machine, just here, coming from here. And I never tell you this before, but I have a coil spring in my throat. I want to play with the music. Here we go.
If you thought those were funny, just imagine being me and getting the full uncut video versions with him in full costume emailed to me out of the blue. Stuff like that's one of the many reasons I love doing this show. The first time Mark was live on the show was when the podcast invaded an old radio show that I used to do, and I don't think anybody in the studio was ready for him. He was cracking us up, even if we didn't know what he was saying at the time. It just made it more funnier to us, and we were dying laughing. There were points where you can't even hear me laugh because I can't get my breath to make the sound of laughter. Here's Mark's appearance on that episode. We got another call?
We've got another caller. You're a popular guy. Your show's very popular tonight, Jason.
I guess so.
You're on the air with Jason.
Oh, no. I am very scared.
I'm sorry. Anyway, hey Jason, this is Mark Ofuji. What's up?
Not much, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Congratulations, first time.
Hey, thank you. That was a heck of an intro, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
I said yes. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, just having a good show. I'm glad to have you on, man. I want to thank you for doing all the first impression segments. It's been a blast.
You're welcome. I'm enjoy doing that. So yeah, thank you so much. So let me do the impressions.
Okay.
For you.
Yeah, sounds good. What you got?
Well, I'm Sean Connery. James Bond.
That sounds a lot like Sean Connery.
I'm boss, very boss. I come back to Earth. Call me anytime.
Can you do Donald Trump? We had a guy on the show. Dan Diesel was doing
on his
Donald
show.
Trump. Yeah, it was on Ohio's on Fire. How's your Donald Trump?
you can trust me on what I say. So he's been traveling to Japan, so his English is fucked up. I am rich, and my wife is beautiful.
Two very true things. Well, in fairness, to make sure the Democrats have time, because we gave a Republican time, how about Hillary Clinton?
Yes, I don't check emails anymore. Yeah, but email, the people, and Obama, yes, of course, my husband, he used to cheat on me, but that's okay. Forget about the past.
How about Bill Clinton?
Hello, America. Hello, America. Are you still there?
Yeah.
I thought you were hungry up.
Oh, no. Well, by the time this goes out, it's going to be Monday, but as of right now, it's the day before Thanksgiving, so what about a turkey?
Turkey.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Now, oh, that was great. I'm trying not to laugh too hard because I don't want people to hear my laughter over the phone call. That was great. Now, Mark, you do comedy in L.A., right?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
You got any shows coming up?
Yes, a lot of shows coming up. If you can come in Los Angeles, yeah, you are welcome. I give you a free ticket.
Okay. Where are you going to be at?
Flappers in Burbank and Santa Monica, West Side Comedy, as well as Sherman Oaks. I forgot the name of the venue, but anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be busy this holiday season, especially, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve at Flappers, Burbank.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, please check my Facebook. You can please click like, all capital, Mark Ofuji, Ofuji. Many people cannot spell my last name, but you guys know.
Go ahead and plug your YouTube channel while we're at it. That way, if people are writing down your Facebook and everything, they can...
Yeah. Definitely, yes, YouTube. I love YouTube, making a video. It's so fun,
Yeah.
I'm in the moment when I'm making a YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel. It's really good stuff.
You imagine I'm doing this all by myself, at home, alone.
Wow. And you're a really busy guy. You're also a bodybuilder and personal trainer, too.
Yeah, I used to compete in bodybuilding, and I'm a certified personal trainer right now.
Now, we just got done talking to a guest before you came on about McDonald's selling a 48-piece McNugget meal in Japan. As a personal trainer and bodybuilder, I just thought I'd get your opinion on that.
With McNuggets, that's not good, man.
Yeah.
You have to eat the vegetables.
Yeah, I think having 48 in a pack is a little overkill.
They don't care about, your health. They're selling McNuggets.
Yeah, I'd like to see the amount of fries that goes along with that McNugget box.
Wow.
That's awesome. You don't know what I don't. I don't do that. I don't, Jesus. Just tell me, I'm Santa Claus.
Do you have a Bill Cosby impression? Well, he sent one to me to play on the show.
But man, because he remains silent, so just a visual. I cannot over the phone, but I can do this, video maybe later.
Okay. Well, you sent an excellent motorcycle impression in, and I just wanted to thank you for that. That was one of my favorite ones. They've all been really good. I really appreciate that. And I showed the cat video that you sent in to my daughter. She loved that one too. I love it. I love it. do you got a dog? We're doing fair time, Democrats, Republicans, cats, and dogs. That's good stuff.
Very, very, very smart. He
well, while we're doing animals, let's see. I don't know. Are you able to do an impression of a fish? That's got to be tough. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a challenge.
I'm going to stop with my hockey stick.
Oh, man.
Fish with a hockey stick.
I do. This is the most fun we've had all night. I love it. Thanks for calling in, man.
Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, what's so funny? What's so cool? I mean, you. How funny.
Oh, man. Oh, that is great.
That's too much energy. I can't.
Hey, can you do?
Turkey. I kill turkey. Too much energy from turkey.
Well, speaking of killing turkey, can you do a Vladimir Putin? I was asking about the president of Russia. He's been in the news lately. How about Justin Bieber?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I still love Selena. Selena, she's my love. What do you mean? What do you mean? Selena, I love Selena. What do you mean? What? I told you that.
That was pretty good.
I don't smoke with him. Never mind. What do you mean? Baby. Oh!
You're already one of my favorite guests of all time. Just in the last 10 minutes.
My cheeks hurt, man.
You've been fantastic. I really... Oh, my gosh. I don't even know what questions to ask.
What's left?
Oh, we were going to plug your YouTube channel, if you want to go ahead and give the name for that. Okay. How do you spell that, just in case for people listening?
I know you're going to ask me. The Mark Genki, Genki, which means in Japanese, what's up? So Mark, what's up? In Japanese, Mark, Gen, M-A-R-K-G-E-N-K-I. Got it?
Yeah, very cool. I didn't know that's...
G-E-N-K-I. I as in India.
Very cool. I didn't know that meant what's up in Japanese.
You learn something new every year. This is the Flat Rock Friday special.
Well, Mark, we're gonna go to another call. I just want to tell you thanks for doing the segments. I really appreciate it. You've been a great guest tonight.
Thank you. I really enjoy doing this. Thank you. Yes, I mean it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You have a great holiday, and we'll be talking to you soon. I'll send you an email sometime tonight.
All right, sounds good. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Mark and I were also friends on Facebook, and I remember Mark posting about a dog barking at him angrily, and it really upset him. He said that most animals love him, and he couldn't understand why this dog was so angry towards him, and was concerned about his chi or his aura. And to me, that post just personified Mark. He was such a caring and thoughtful person and wanted to be viewed as a nice guy. He even cared about how animals viewed him. I emailed Mark once after a health scare that I had because he's a personal trainer and I was looking for some advice. He replied with damn near a book's worth of information. The fact that he took so much time out of his day to compile so much information for me was astounding. At the end of the email, he even apologized for it being so long. As I was preparing to leave the radio show, the last 2 episodes that I did were with people who contributed segments to the podcast. So of course I invited Mark to come on, and he did. I was excited to talk to him because I had recently seen him on an episode of my favorite TV show called Nathan For You. If you haven't seen the show, you need to. Season 4 starts Thursday, September 28th at 10 p.m. Eastern on Comedy Central. Make sure you set your DVRs. I couldn't wait to talk to him about what it was like to be on the show and to meet Nathan Fielder. What I wasn't expecting was for him to call in while he was waiting his turn at an audition. I really thought that said a lot about him and our friendship. He was a hard-working guy. He was putting work in, trying to get ahead in L.A., but he was also more than willing to take time out of his day to talk to a friend. I'll never forget that, and it really meant a lot to me. Here's the clip. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, Jason.
This is Mark Ofuji.
This is Mark Ofuji.
Comedian and impressionist. Very good guy. I was just telling everybody, I have the video clip from America's Got Talent on the homepage of the website.
Oh, my gosh. I never watched that video myself. I just couldn't.
How was that experience for you?
It was very difficult, very, very difficult. What you saw was that not, entire process of the auditioning process. Mm-hmm. Start with off the camera auditions, 3-4 auditions. Then they put you on, final auditions on the camera, which you just saw. Mm-hmm. So it's different locations, but they edited it into the one place. It looked like, I've been waiting for the auditions all day long, then going to the stage and do the stuff, but it's not really, happened in the one place at the same time.
As difficult as it was once that experience happened, it had to feel good to know that you made it onto the show, because there had to be a ton of people just trying to get on there and didn't make it.
Right. At least I saw 2,000 people in the waiting room. And, first auditions, they cut it into, let's say, 200 people, 200 acts. Mm-hmm. Then they go on video auditions, and they make decisions who's going to be on the last, 25 acts. So it's been like a 3 months process. And you cannot tell anyone about that show. It's, I signed for the agreement that I cannot tell anybody else. I be on the show. I go on to the next round. I cannot tell you that. But
I now can because it's been a while ago. So, but
I was talking on the podcast a while back about your appearance on Nathan For You.
Yes.
That
I
is
did.
that's one of my favorite TV shows, and I've seen the last
I
two
didn't
seasons.
watch either. I never watched that show. So I know what I did, but again, they edited into maybe a few seconds. I'm not sure, but you tell me what I did.
It was amazing because, like I said, that's my favorite TV show, and you were on the first season of it. I think it was episode 6, and I'm just sitting there getting caught up. I'm excited that I have a full season to watch. Next thing I know, you just pop up on the TV screen. I lost it because we've talked over emails back and forth, and my daughter loves you. So I had to go get her and be like, dude, look, Marco Fuji's on on TV. But it was one of his business schemes to help people with their funeral packages. And It was an upgraded funeral package that you could buy where actors would come in and be sad or have parts to play where like one was a mistress and different things like that to make the funeral experience more presentable to people who didn't have many people in their lives.
Yes, that's so true. That was a great experience too. I mean, audition was, I found the audition notice via Craigslist, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I still get a residual from that show because it's the union gig. So.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode ever, just because you were in it.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for saying that.
There's so many of them that I like. As I said a bunch of times already, it's my favorite TV show. But when I seen you were in it, that just sealed the fate. I'm like, this is the best episode now.
Did I speak in Japanese or?
No, you were in English. But they actually showed the process of you going for the role.
Yeah. Yes, we did that. I just remember that. Yes.
Do you remember anything about Nathan Fielder on that day?
I remember that he's kind of different people.
Yeah.
Maybe he came from another planet. And I wasn't so sure. Is he or he playing the character? I can't tell you because even camera is off. He's still in the character.
I have that feeling too. I don't know where the character ends and he begins. He seems like the same person and
same person all the time, 24/7. Yeah, that's him.
I was going to ask that if anything changed when the cameras went off because he's just so stoic and the way he presents himself just never changes.
Yeah, that's so true. Like Andy Kaufman.
Yeah,
maybe he's a similar, character and.
Yeah, that's two good comparisons. Andy Kaufman and somebody from a different planet. Because
I'm just telling you that they have. I don't know. I still don't know that Nathan is he's still playing the character. Or when he go home in the shower by himself, he's still doing that same thing. Or I'm not sure. That's a very, very good question. But yeah.
Very unique individual. If anybody hasn't seen the show, check out Nathan For You. It's a hell of a show. But you do stand up too over in LA, and you've been doing a lot of shows lately.
Yeah, I do more auditions. In fact, I'm waiting for the casting call right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have another audition in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I got the side in my hand trying to memorize these lines right now. I'm talking to you guys. But that's okay.
Well, I appreciate you doing the radio show because you've been a part of the podcast since the very first episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So I had to make sure when I did this episode that you were included because how could I not include you? You're the original segment for the show.
Well, thanks for saying that. Yeah. How about you? You've been doing a stand-up, right? I saw your flyers and you're doing stand-ups and.
I'm mainly sticking with the podcast and radio for right now and just trying to get that going. And so far, so good.
Yeah, that's good for you because you have a good voice. You sound like an anchor man, you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Have you ever thought of doing a newscast or, something like on TV or, whatever,
Well, I've been approached by a couple of different podcasts about doing some things with them, but that's all I can talk about for right now.
Okay, all right.
But I appreciate you saying that. It's very, very kind of you. But
no, that's true. That's true. I'm sure someone else said to you the same questions. You're doing the right thing. So I don't know in person. I haven't met you guys yet. I saw you guys on the pictures, and I haven't seen your videos. But yeah, maybe in the future, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully one day we'll make that happen. I got a lot of listeners over in San Francisco and the Bay Area, so maybe we'll do a meetup over there sometime, and I can make it down to LA and hang out with you.
That sounds good.
I've seen you've done a lot of television lately too, so you've stayed busy.
I started as an actor first, and then added stand-up comedy later. So I've been doing for acting, for a long time, and but definitely the stand-up, give me a more range of acting skills and confidence levels, much higher than before I met, stand-up. So I really appreciate it. I met stand-up. It sounds funny. That sounds like a person, but in fact, I had a stand-up coach, and he and I, developed my character, materials.
Well, you also done a lot of movies. One of them was Letters from Iwo Jima.
Directed by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, wow.
His movie is coming out this Saturday, Friday. Sorry, Tom Hanks. Well, yeah, he's great. He's a great actor, a great director. He doesn't tell us what to do. Once you're on the stage and on the set, he just let the actors to do because he trusted. Once you finish the casting process, he doesn't say much. So his, usually movies shooting takes, at least 12 hours a day. But his set, he doesn't work more than 8 hours because he's old. So that's true. And he maximum takes like 3 takes each scene. That's it. So it's so much pressure on me, on the actors. If you messed up, you have only 2 takes left.
Right.
The thing with the movie, I don't know if you watch the movie, it's all Japanese dialogue. So, they don't know if I messed up.
I like that.
But truth of the matter is, there are a few translators, Japanese, English, Japanese, and they listen to your all dialogue all day long. So,
okay, because I was going to ask, since they don't speak Japanese, if you just improv some jokes in there, but made them serious so they bought it and it just got into the movie.
Yeah, there you go.
In fact, I have a great joke I made right after the finished the gig, and it was my best comedy jokes ever.
Oh.
It's a killer joke, but it's based on a true story. So the audience listen to me and they really enjoy my joke. That's so true. I wouldn't tell you everything right now on the radio, but the thing is, I had maybe 3 auditions, different roles, but they put me on a very small role, and only I had 1 line in Japanese, and so I got script 3 days before the shooting day. I practiced 1 line for 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, very easy in Japanese, just 1 line, very easy. But it's a military, terms. It's kind of difficult to tell. But anyway, on the set, they changed my line last minute.
After all that.
So I got so nervous, and because Clint Eastwood was there, and the lead
actor Ken Watanabe. He's an international movie star from Japan. He was there, and many staff and crews. I got so nervous, so I stumbled my lines in first take. Oops, like I said, only I have 2 takes left. So I did something, I said, they're not gonna use my, scene because I had so much trouble saying those one line. But, I had a sign for the agreement. They must use it under union contract, so they did. They edited really, really good, but I couldn't find myself,
I can see how you would
Yeah.
get nervous on the set because that's a lot of star power right in front of you.
Yeah.
And knowing you only got...
Yeah, it was my very first big movie. So, but, I already doing stand-up at that time. It was like 2007, but, still, was so nervous. Everything. They put me on military, boots, helmet. Very, very tight. Very, very tight. I didn't sleep. I slept maybe 3 hours because of nervousness. And beyond the sets, they changed my line last minute. And the Japanese interpreter came up to me and said, "Hey, can you say that? Can you say that? Blah, 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 blah." No. I had to take a no. They can't just say it.
Can you do a Clint Eastwood impression for us?
"You punk, make my day, do ya?"
Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're getting ready for your audition, but I just want to say that I really do appreciate you being a part of the show and coming on the radio today to talk to us as busy as you are.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I really enjoy talking to you guys. And say hi to your daughter.
Will do.
All right.
All right. You have a great day and good luck with the audition.
Thank you. You too, Jason.
Mark's always a good person to talk to. It's always something interesting that you didn't know until you talked to him. And I would have never guessed that he would actually be doing the interview from an audition. Only about 3 or 4 people know this, but after I put together the second stand-up show at Diesel that was based on the podcast, I started planning on doing one in LA. I wanted to have some people on that show that have been on the podcast before, just like the one at the Diesel, and Mark was going to be the person that I would rely on to make sure things went well since there was no way I could be there. I wouldn't have even considered doing that if it wasn't for Mark, but I knew I could count on him, and who knows, maybe it'll still happen. Hopefully it does. Mark has always been factored into this show regardless of what else might have changed, including the girls who do the intros to the show.
Do you have a Dumbass of the Year nomination, impression request for Mark Ofuji?
Or just want to contact the show? Shoot us an email at jason@wedon'thavecookies.com.
I'm going to end the show with Mark doing some stand-up. I want to thank everybody for downloading the show. And Mark, buddy, if you're listening, I hope you're somewhere on a badass 2 to 3 month long vacation, and I hope I hear from you soon.
What's up, guys? Good. I'd like to share with you my American dream. That I want to be an adult movie star. I think that it is so wonderful to get paid to do something that I now pay for. Maybe you guys are wondering where I came from, right? Actually, I'm from Sweden. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm from Japan. Thank you. You must like your Toyota, huh? But anyway, sometimes when I get homesick, you laughing too much. Sometimes when I get homesick, I go to Japanese store, IKEA. I'm not like the normal Japanese people, very reserved. When meet someone, they bow and maybe shake hands. I want to be more friendly. That is why when I meet people, I lick their face. Yeah, some people don't like me to do that. Like the girls at the bank. You know what?
I was there at the bank last week and I tried to lick her face through a very small window. She responded. But anyway, you guys remember tsunami disaster happened in Japan? Yeah, it was so sad. It's been 2.5 years, but they are still suffering. So at that time, I thought, what can I do for them? So I decided to donate, contribution money every month. So since then, I've been going to a local, Japanese community here in LA, a place called Tokyo Massage. If you don't think I'm a powerful, attractive to women, listen to this. I was at the shopping mall last week, and this gorgeous blonde just walked up to me, and she told me she wanted to me my clothes off. How's that? Sure, she was a store detective. I was shoplifting clothing. And okay, he was a guy. I'm a big movie fan. You guys love movies, right? Yeah, and one of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump. You know Forrest Gump? Here is Forrest Gump. My mom always said, life is like a box of chocolate. If we eat them all, you're gonna get fat. Something like that. Thank you. You guys are great, huh? Yeah, I'm going to show you another impression. This is very intense because he is Roberto De Niro. All right. I'm going to share this one. I had a terrible experiences at the Enterprise rent-a-car. I went in, the girl said, you have a Hyundai accent, and you're going to need some insurance. I said, that's discrimination, that's outrageous. Why do I need insurance on my accent anyway? I don't have a Hyundai accent, I have a Japanese accent. And she said, oh no, you don't need the insurance on your accent, you need the insurance on your car. And I said, I don't have a car, that's why I'm here to rent one. And she said, okay, I'll tell you what, maybe Mini suits you better. And I said, a Mini? Oh, now you're making fun of my body? You don't know what you're missing. I'm going to show you what it is. Surprise! She and I have a date next weekend. At 9 a.m. at the Supreme Court in downtown. I'm not just a comedian, I'm also an actor. And, I worked with Clint Eastwood in a movie called Letters from Iwo Jima. You guys know the movie? You don't know it? Oh, that's okay. Well, he directed, and it's a Japanese war film. And guess what? I got one line in that movie in Japanese. But even though just one line, that was tough, man. On the set, he goes, and action. ウバステ山のふもとにいるのは渋垣隊のモックンです。And he came up to me and said, "Can you say it faster?" And I said, "Well, Mr. Eastwood, I only have one line in this movie, so I want to say it slowly. Then I be on the screen longer, and my sister can take pictures." And he said, "If you say it slower, I will cut you out of the film." And I looked at him and I said, "Go ahead, punk, make my day!" And he shot me. And thank you. I was so lucky. Now I know I have a star on Walk of Fame in Chinatown. And all I needed was a hammer, a chisel, and a bag of cement. That was my last joke. Thank you so much. My name is Marco Ofuji. You guys have been great.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
Have a nice day.